Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 20th of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right. Okay, we've seen a nice rally overnight. I was talking about this yesterday morning when I was talking about the 5 out of 6 buy signals, and as usual, they have delivered. We've reached the possible near miss target on ES. We didn't have a signal on NQ. We've reached the possible near miss target on RTY. We're now reaching the possible near miss target on YM as well. Where we've reached it already on DAX and we've reached it on ESTX. So basically, most of these are played out, but there is a possibility that we go higher. I don't have a decent reversal pattern here on ES, but I do have small reversal patterns elsewhere. Didn't really have one on NQ either. Didn't really have one on RTY, but on YM, I've got a double bottom and arguably an IHS breaking up. The double bottom is breaking up with a target in the 46,930 area. And if I drew this as an IHS, really we'd be looking at the monthly pivot in the 47,108 area. On DAX, we've got an IHS that has broken up with a target in the 23,730 area. And on ESTX, we've got an IHS and that has broken up with a target in the 5670 area. I'm leaning towards seeing more upside, but we are out of signals here. Let's have a look at the bigger picture chart for targets. All right, let's have a look at ES. Nice reversal here. We don't have any positive divergence. Now, if we have a rally which isn't too large, and then we retest the low, we could set up some nice possible RSI 5 buy signals, although there are patterns to suggest we go lower. We don't have a decent pattern yet on ES or SPX. I am wondering about a possible head and shoulder, right shoulders forming here with a slightly slanted right shoulder, and this would be a lot better head and shoulders than this one here, which I don't particularly like. So I am wondering about a right shoulder high. That would have an ideal high in about the 67.84 area, and the daily middle band I've got in the 67.82 area. So that I am wondering about that back test. Equally, there is a possibility we'll fail at 50 MA, but honestly, I think we're probably going to open above it. And that does open a potential test of the daily middle band. I'm thinking we may well see that. All right, looking at the Qs again. I've got a possible head and shoulders here. Again, I don't particularly like it. Again, we've come pretty close to the head and shoulder neckline that I posted 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this is a potential right shoulder forming. If we form that, the ideal right shoulder high would be in the 613 area. And I've got the daily middle band in the 618 area and obviously declining at the moment. All right, looking at Dow on the daily chart, haven't reached the sell signals here, sell signals targets here. We reached the 30 level on Dire. We've reached the 29, I think, level on SPX, and we've reached, on the Qs chart, I think we're at 29 or 30 as well. Really, they need to get down to about 26, 27, not a lot lower, but a bit lower to reach the targets. We do, however, have some downside targets which are looking pretty nice. We've got a double top here, which has already broken down with a target in the 44429 area, but of course we could be forming an alternate IHS here. I don't like that as much, though. The right shoulder would look too large. And I don't think, hang on, wait a second, I'm just going to check a possible trend line here. This would, in the event that there was a 3-touch trend line for the neckline with the start here, that would improve a lot. And actually, we do have that. All right, this could be a right shoulder here too. And I'm thinking that may well be what's forming here, because that is a nice, perfect little trend line. Yeah, that is very nice indeed. All right, so we've got a possible alternate head and shoulders forming here too. Ideal right shoulder high would be in the 470 area. And if we have a look, I've also got a weak RSI 14 bicycle fixed here and an RSI 5 bicycle fixed here. So if we have a look at that, if we have a look at the daily middle band, I've got that at 472. So that again is a pretty decent match. Looking at IWM, IWM, we've got obviously a decent looking head and shoulders, which is already broken down. Looking at the daily chart, if we were to see this is the one that's least likely to see a test of the daily middle band, although actually it's a pretty attractive target at the moment because it's crossing the 50 DMA. We've got basically both of those at 243 at the moment, but I'm doubtful about getting that high. In the short term, we've got no obvious pattern here, but we have reached a possible neckline here, and I've got an ideal right shoulder high on that. If we make those the sort of targets I'm talking about in the others, we'll probably overshoot this, but we really basically hit that yesterday. For this possible neckline, which I was wondering about, as well as this neckline down here. But we've got a number of those on IWM, with the largest one down here. We could be forming a right shoulder there too, but at the moment we've got another head and shoulders that's already broken down with a target in the 219.5 area. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is I'm using this as my chart of the day today. But let's have a quick look because I wanted to show you the Tesla chart as well. And here, bear with me. All right, here we are. Okay, here we've got another Tesla chart, and here we've got weekly and daily sell signals, and we've got a very nice looking double top here, which is broken down basically with a target in the, I think that's right, 358 to 362 area, and actually the arrows are suggesting lower. All right. Actually, scratch that. I've miscalculated it. That's actually in the 344 to 348 area. So I have put those down wrong. So I'll change that before I post that today. So, but really, we've got a target considerably lower. That's what I'm leaning towards seeing on the others as well. I think we're seeing a decent rally here. After that rally ends, I'm thinking we could see a sizable decline to go down to lower targets. And I'm thinking that may well wrap up this decline as and when we see that. And with bullish tape taking over again in and then likely a series of retests. We will see how that goes, but that Tesla chart is looking pretty interesting. Hey George, I'll recap the equities quickly at the end. All right, looking at DAX, we have broken lower. We're down below the 200 DMA, which is significant. Last time we broke below that was briefly in April. And then briefly in August last year. This doesn't get broken too often. It is a sign of potential weakness. We do have a double top which is broken down here already, with a target in the 21,750 to 21,850 area. But again, if we were to come down a bit lower and then retest the high, then of course we could set up a move to go considerably lower. Nikkei, RSI 14 sell signal fixed, working its way towards the target, but a rally wouldn't hurt, and then we will see whether it can get through the rising support trend line, which I've got currently in the 47,200 area. All right, let's have a look at DX, where the bull flag broke up and we retested the high. Now, this is a potential double top. We've still got an ambiguous overall setup here. We've got a bear flag and we've got a double bottom, which is breaking up slightly. We've got to make a decision as to which way it's going to go. My lean is upwards, but it isn't necessarily going to happen that way. We've got in the short term, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and we will see how far this goes. I've got a corresponding buy signal fixed on USD, and I've got a corresponding sell signal fix brewing on USD CAD, and one fixed on USD JPY. So I am leaning towards, in fact, we've got a full size one brewing on USD JPY now. I'm leaning towards seeing some downside here. If we get down to the level we're breaking down from the double top, then I'll probably be taking the bear scenario more seriously than the bull one. All right, ZB, we are breaking down slightly, and if the obvious target at this point is if we have been forming a head and shoulders here, and that would have the right shoulder here. Then we could be breaking down considerably lower at the moment. But I'm watching to see if we get another potential right shoulder bounce when we get closer to this trend line here in the 115 possible neckline in the 115.23 area. Looking at ZN, we've already got a really nice looking double top here. And all it's waiting for is for this to break down. I'm leaning towards the downside on bonds, as I've been saying. CL, nice looking bull flag. I'm thinking this may well break up and deliver a move to a retest of this high. We shall see. HO is giving a signal that we might be going down. We've got a rising wedge here, which looks like it is overthrowing. It's just pretty sure I checked that already, but yeah, we don't have a channel there. So wondering whether this could break down, but I've got to say, RBOB, this looks like a bull flag as well. So I've got two bull flags here. I'm kind of leaning towards the possibility that we might see retests of these highs on CL and RBOB. Looking at NG, bigger picture, we've got sell signals fixed. Shorter term, we've got a sell signal fixed, and we've got a possible IHS forming here. Retest the high would give us potential level top. GC, 60-minute buy signal made the possible near miss target. The buy signal made target on SI, and the buy signal we had on PL made target as well. GC, I am still wondering about ABC, and I think we could get that with another leg down on equities potentially. SI, nice looking potential level top, but on the bigger picture chart, this looks like a bull flag forming. Palladium, pretty decent looking IHS forming here, although it's showing absolutely no sign of breaking up at the moment. On platinum, this looks like a bear flag, which is broken down with a target and retested this low, but this could just be expanding. We will see. HG, nice looking double top, currently showing no sign of breaking down at all. KC, still got a double top, which is broken down here, but at the moment we're just consolidating sideways. I think we could be forming a bullish triangle, but I don't really have the trend lines for that yet, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's not a good fit. Looking at SB, we got a double bottom that's broken up, sideways consolidation. I'm leaning towards this making target. That target's in the 15.43 area. CC, we're breaking down further, which isn't a surprise, but we are forming a little forming wedge here, and it's actually pretty nice. I'm leaning towards this breaking up into at least a decent rally, maybe a 50 back into about the 6,000 area, and we've got a 60-minute buy signal, which is already fixed. Looking at CT, nice looking falling megaphone. Within that falling megaphone, we have a nice looking double bottom. I'm thinking we might see a decent rally here. It's certainly suggesting that, possibly with a target in the monthly pivot area at 66.32. Lumber, nice looking falling wedge, might be underthrowing, but it might be like we need to move trend lines around. But certainly, overall, I'm leaning towards seeing a rally in the not too distant future. ZW, we've got a bull flag which has broken up here. This could be expanding into a larger bull flag, but we may just break up and retest this high here in the 568 area. On corn, corn, possible head and shoulders forming here. Soy, we've had some uncertainty here because, of course, the Chinese have committed to buy 12 million tons of soybeans, and they haven't actually bought any yet. So there is some uncertainty here, but this hasn't given much of the gains back, and we may well see more if the Chinese actually deliver. On soybean oil, we've got a double bottom breaking up, but we've also got a decent looking rising megaphone. Watching to see whether this megaphone breaks down, because sometimes you get these alternate setups, both bullish and bearish, and you just need to wait to see which one starts delivering. Live cattle, possible nested double bottom here. It's pretty nice. Not much sign of it going up so far, but looks pretty nice. If we see both of these play out, we'd see a target, I think, which would be in about the 244 area. Looking at lean hogs, nice looking falling wedge, nice looking double bottom. Nice looking weak 60-minute buy signal fixed. Wondering about a rally, not seen anything so far. Okay, let's have a quick look at a review of equities. Now, yesterday morning I was talking about seeing some more upside. We have seen that more upside. NVIDIA earnings were good. I'm just thinking this is a rally. I'm not seeing any indication that this is more than that, but obviously there's always a chance that it is. The weak 60-minute buy signal from yesterday has now made the possible near miss target. We didn't have anything on NQ. RTY is reaching the possible near miss target. YM has reached the possible near miss target. DAX has reached those as well. So all of them have reached the possible near miss target. We do have some patterns which have broken up. On YM, we've got a double bottom here, which is broken up with a target in the 46,930 area, and I am wondering whether we might start seeing some daily middle band rallies. from various of these indices. And if we see that, then that would be the obvious time to see them reverse. DAX has broken up with a target in the 23,730 area. ESTX has broken up with a target in the 50-70 area. So potentially this has more legs. And if we do go up further from here, we may well see a test of the daily middle band. I'm looking at the bigger picture charts. We can, hang on, wait a second. Right, we've only really got positive divergence on dia, but I am wondering about possible head and shoulders forming here from these lows. And if we do see those, then actually a move up to the ideal right shoulders here would actually be a pretty good match with back tests of the daily middle bands, which would be a very obvious target. We've got that on SPX, we've got that on the Qs. We've already got a double top which is broken down on dia, but actually we've got that on dia. We've got a perfect trend line here for the neckline. That looks nice. We could form a right shoulder here and go down. And actually, I think, hang on, bear with me a second, we've got the same time set up on IWM. So I'm thinking we may well be making the right shoulders on head and shoulders to take us lower. But of course, when we got that lower, we would probably have daily buy signal spring. If we made the right shoulders and then broke down, then we would have an inflection point there. We could either reject back up to the high or on daily positive divergence or continue down to the targets. So I'd be watching that. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Let's have a quick look at questions. Am I still seeing a rally before the end of the year or downtrend at the end of the year? Yes, I am thinking we're probably going to see a rally in December. We've got really pretty strong bullish stats in December, and also I think we're part of a larger topping process, and I think that topping process would be helped along by either a retest or a move further down and then a sizable right shoulder. I'm thinking there's still a decent chance of seeing a retest of the highs before the end of the year. I'm liking that scenario best at the moment. It may be that we lose that, but even if we see a steep decline here, that doesn't rule out a retest in any way, shape, or form. You should have a look. If you go back and look at ones historically, have a look at the double top for the 2007 high. And look at the preceding decline and the retest on that, and that will show you what you can see in this kind of situation. In comparison, if we got down to, let's say, on IWM, if we got down to 212 or even 202, in comparison, that decline would be very little. Topping patterns can be big. And normally, something like 70% of topping patterns on SPX are double tops. So that would be my first lean, although obviously it might go another way, and I'll be watching the possible head and shoulder necklines as well. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.